the Indiana Fever beat the Dallas Wings 102-83. This was a highly anticipated game because it was going to be the first time that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers would be going up against one another in the WNBA.
For 5 years, fans have followed one of basketball's fiercest rivalries, Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. Two high school phenoms to different paths. Clark chose Iowa, Bueckers went to UConn. Clark owned their college battles, especially in March Madness. Critics, including Gino Orima, questioned if Clark's game would work in the pros. Last night, she answered. Clark and Bueckers faced off for the first time in the WNBA. And it wasn't just a game, it was history. Clark pulled off something only she has ever done again. If you're ready for the records she broke, drop a CC record breaker in the comments. To stars, 2 styles, 1 rivalry. And now, a brand new college journeys couldn't have been more different. Paige Bueckers went the traditional powerhouse route, choosing UConn under the legendary Gino Orima, stepping into a dynasty built on championships. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, chose the underdog path, Iowa, a program still chasing national respect and hungry for a breakthrough. The choice set the stage for some of the most unforgettable tournament battles in recent memory matchups that didn't just showcase their skills but started to define their legacies. When it mattered most, Clark delivered. Her Hawkeyes shattered UConn's final for hopes with a 41-point explosion that sent the Huskies packing. It was cold, calculated, and clutch. In their 3 college meetings, Clark outdueled Bueckers twice, proving she could carry a team and take over on the biggest stage. From there, it stopped being just basketball. Analysts, fans, and the media started choosing sides. The rivalry became something bigger, a myth in motion, a clash of styles, paths, and personalities that transcended the college game entirely.
Caitlin, you've known Paige since middle school, AAU. You guys were on the U19 World Cup team together. Is there anything that maybe stood out then about her, whether it be on or off the court, that maybe still reigns true today?
I mean, I feel like she's played in the same manner that she, has since she was, whether we were on the U16 team together, U19 team together, whether it was me watching her in AAU, like she's always just been smooth. She takes what the game gives her. Her midi has always been as nice as it's been this year. She's just she just plays way older than she is. Like she's confident, she's smooth, she just does everything at a high level, can score from all 3 levels. And that's how she's always played, and that's obviously translated really well.
Orima didn't hold back when it came to Caitlin Clark. He openly questioned her shot selection and cast doubt on whether her flashy, high-volume style would translate to the WNBA. In contrast, he praised Paige Bueckers, his own star, as the more fundamentally sound, pro-ready talent. At the heart of it, their games represented 2 distinct philosophies. Clark brought explosive scoring, deep range audacity, and fearless playmaking. Bueckers delivered smooth efficiency, disciplined execution, and technical precision. It wasn't just a difference in style, it was a clash of basketball ideologies. And the debate over whose game would shine brighter at the next level only added fuel to the fire.
By saying, everything is she was Caitlin before Caitlin, she's better than Caitlin, and all this stuff, that kind of stopped in the media. Caitlin Clark put up better numbers in the WNBA than Paige did in college.
Clark and Bueckers declared for the WNBA. Fans immediately circled the calendar, waiting for their first professional clash. Clark held the 2-1 edge in college matchups, but now the stakes were different and the pressure even higher. Their long-awaited WNBA showdown had all the makings of a marquee moment. With questions swirling around Clark's transition to the pro level and her early struggles with the Fever, this game wasn't just a matchup, it was a litmus test. The hype was real. ABC picked up the game for national broadcast, knowing it would pull in fans coast to coast. All eyes were on Clark and Bueckers once again, but this time, the lights were brighter, the stage was bigger, and reputations were on the line.
Said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
Where it gets interesting, Clark's Fever were spiraling heading into this high-profile showdown. Just days before, Indiana suffered back-to-back embarrassing losses to teams they were expected to beat. The LA Sparks and Golden State Valkyries didn't just win, they exposed the Fever's flaws. These weren't top-tier contenders, these were winnable games, and yet Indiana looked lost. Fans were frustrated. The timing couldn't have been worse. With the national spotlight looming, the pressure on Clark to deliver and silence the doubters was reaching a boiling point.
Our player development coach yesterday, and he was like, just sent me a few things of like even Steph going through a slump. I think he was like 27 for his last 70 or something like that. Like the best in the world go through it, and I think that's like where you can find your confidence. And I think the thing I always fall back on is like, I know how hard I've worked, so this isn't something that's going to last, and the best players in the world go through this. So I feel like I'm getting good shots, and I think that's why it's frustrating, because those are the shots that I make.
Behind the scenes, a quiet storm was brewing, a philosophical clash between Caitlin Clark's high-octane vision and Coach Stephanie White's more methodical system. Clark thrived in transition, always looking to push the pace and ignite fast breaks. White, meanwhile, preferred a controlled, half-court approach rooted in structure and set plays. The tension between their styles wasn't just tactical, it became personal. And it all came to a head during the now infamous sideline exchange in the game against the Atlanta Dream. With cameras rolling, the two were caught in a heated, visibly intense back and forth right there on the bench. No filters, no disguises, just raw disagreement. It was more than a momentary frustration. It was the public unveiling of a deeper rift, one that had been simmering behind closed doors for weeks. That exchange marked a turning point, not just in the game, but in the season.
I feel like this stretch, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us is like, we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together, and then we go on the road, and we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself. No matter who you're playing, we play Connecticut, then we play New York. So I think Steph's message was, yes, All-Stars coming up, that break's coming up, but our focus is on these 3 games that we have left. So in that sense, I do think it's critical that our focus just remains on the game in front of us, and I feel like that's what everybody in the locker room is doing.
Definitely something going on within the locker room, the front office. Something is off, man. This is the 3rd situation in one game we have had involving Caitlin Clark and the coaching staff and pretty much another player. And it looked like Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White definitely had a situation where they was in a heated exchange right before half.
Lineup instability only poured fuel on the fire. Caitlin Clark was just returning from injury, trying to rediscover her rhythm. At the same time, Duana Bonner and Damaris Dandis rejoined the roster after stints with their national teams, further disrupting the team's fragile chemistry. The Fever couldn't lock in a consistent rotation, roles were unclear, timing was off. The offense looked disjointed, like a group of strangers trying to run a playbook they barely recognized. Missed shots stacked up, turnovers erased momentum.
It can be frustrating when your shot isn't going in the way that you want it to, but then I look at the box and it's like, I'm really 4 shots away from having a really good game, a really good shooting game. So that's where you find your confidence, and I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. So, until I break out of it, I'm just going to keep launching, and that's all I know, and I'm so confident in everything that I can.
And the fast-paced, free-flowing game Clark thrives in, completely missing even Clark admitted the inconsistency was wearing thin. We play one good game, then one bad one, then another good one ... and back down again. Her shooting slump became a hot topic. But Clark, ever the shooter, didn't flinch. It's frustrating when your shots don't fall. But I look at the box score and realize I'm 4 shots away from a great night. I know I can hit those. I'm not stopping, I'll keep shooting. That's who I am. She even likened her stretch to Steph Curry's cold spells temporary, Not defining, the breaking point came in a gritty win over Atlanta that snapped the Fever's losing streak. They won the game, but nothing between Clark and Coach White had truly been resolved. The tension was just swept under the rug. And now, all eyes turned to Dallas. Would Coach White finally let Clark run the show? Would she embrace the up-tempo style that fuels Clark's brilliance? Or would the philosophical tug-of-war continue to hold this team back? That looming question made the upcoming showdown with Paige Bueckers more than just a rivalry. It became a battle of basketball ideologies, with Clark desperate to prove that her way not only works, but wins. Could work at the professional level. Then something magical happened. Stephanie White finally gave Clark exactly what she'd been asking for. Against Dallas, White made a crucial decision to let Clark control the tempo and run the offense her way. This wasn't just a small adjustment. White completely changed her approach and trusted Clark to lead the team at the pace she wanted. Leroux the other night had a season-high 18 points. Here's Boston turning the corner, dishing to Ho. Extra feed Clark. A deep three. You bet. And he actually brought up stats from a shooting slump Steph Curry went through. She said that made her feel a lot better. That pass will as well, right on the money to Mitchell. Cunningham attacked to close out. Clark the rejection of. Quinterly. Clark the flick ahead. Oh, beautifully done. Touchdown Fever. Early in the game, it wasn't clear if this strategy would work, as both teams felt each other out in the first quarter. The Fever looked good, but not spectacular. They were finding their rhythm slowly. Clark was getting her teammates involved, but the real fireworks hadn't started yet. The Wings were keeping pace, and the game felt competitive. Here's Clark being hawked by Isaiah James. Clark sidestepping three is good. Clark backing down. Quinterly 6 to shoot, baiting away and dropping it in. Beautiful. Here's Clark off the screen through the lane. Feeds Howard, another assist for Clark. That's 13, as Howard is up to 18 points. Then came the explosive second quarter when everything clicked. Clark started pushing pace like never before. She was finding teammates with those full-court passes, the ones fans called touchdown passes. The Fever scored an incredible 36 points. In that quarter alone, they outscored Dallas by 21 points in just 10 minutes. This wasn't just good basketball. This was basketball poetry in motion. And he actually brought up stat from a shooting slump Steph Curry went through. She said that made her feel a lot better. That pass will as well, right on the money to Mitchell. A tenacious start from Caitlin Clark. Here's a Goomba off on a three. Long rebound. Mitchell, you're not going to catch her. Kelsey Mitchell in for two. They elevate each other because of how hard they compete. Nice look. Aliyah Boston with a gorgeous dime to Kelsey Mitchell. Clark's teammates responded to her. Leadership in amazing ways. Kelsey Mitchell caught fire, scoring 20 points on 8 of 12 shooting. She extended her double-digit scoring streak to 21 games. Mitchell was hitting shots from everywhere, feeding off Clark's energy and pace. Natasha Howard was running the floor like a gazelle, finishing with 18 points on an efficient 8 of 9 shooting. Howard looked unstoppable, attacking the rim. Aliyah Boston was dominating inside, using her size and strength to control the paint. She was finishing every opportunity Clark created for her. The chemistry between Clark and Boston was perfect. Clark would draw defenders with her speed, then find Boston for easy baskets. Mitchell bounces. Boston one more time. This time, Mitchell delivering and Boston up to 13 points. Indiana shooting 66%. Here's what made this performance truly special. The Fever scored a franchise record 64 points in the first half. They were playing the most beautiful basketball they'd shown all season. This broke the previous record of 63 points set back in 2016 against the New York Liberty. The 64 points also marked the highest scoring half by any WNBA team during the 2025 season. The Fever's 30 assists tied a franchise record, and 13 of those came from Clark. This proved she could elevate everyone around her when given freedom. Clark wasn't just scoring, she was making her teammates better. The ball movement was incredible. Every pass had purpose. Every possession felt dangerous. Sophie Cunningham provided the perfect spark off the bench, adding another scoring threat. That made the Fever unstoppable. Cunningham scored 13 points, including a driving layup that helped her reach 1,500 career points. Her energy and shooting ability gave the Fever another weapon that Dallas couldn't handle. Cunningham the rebound, and Cunningham swiftly up the floor finds Howard for 2. Sophie Cunningham making a huge impact off the bench, and Dallas will take a timeout. In this lineup, Natasha Howard is the quickest post player on the second quarter's 36-point output, tie for the third most points scored in a single quarter in Fever franchise history. The team shot 76.2% from the field during this period. They went on a blistering 33-9 run that lasted nearly 8 minutes. The Wings had no answers for this pace and energy. The game became a complete blowout as the Wings couldn't match Indiana's pace and energy. Dallas looked tired and confused. They couldn't keep up with the Fever's transition game. Clark's vision for fast-paced basketball was working perfectly at the professional level. This wasn't just a win. It was proof that Clark's vision for fast-paced basketball could dominate at the professional level. White had finally unleashed the monster, and the results were historic. Good dub, 2 in a row, 2 more All-Star. Let's go. Wow, you already know it's coming. Bow bow, on to the next. Hell yeah, can you use that one? Let's go. But here's the moment that will be remembered forever. Clark didn't just win, she made WNBA history. While dominating the game, Clark was quietly putting